From Universal Studios, Hollywood, the Samuel Goldwyn Company presents American Gladiators. Selected from a nationwide search, 20 men and women have come to Hollywood to challenge our force of American Gladiators for a single honor, to become American Gladiators champions. Now, here are your American Gladiators: Gemini, Lace, Nitro, Gold, Laser, Blaze, Thunder, Ice, Turbo, and Diamond. The host for American Gladiators, Mike Adamle, and his co-host, Larry Zonka.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Mike Adamle. Welcome to this edition of the American Gladiators. You know, for the next hour, you are going to witness what we feel is some very compelling competition between our contenders who come from all walks of life and our American Gladiators who are bigger than better than ever. Now, my co-host is no stranger to fierce competition. He's Hall of Fame fullback from the Miami Dolphins, Mr. Larry Zonka. Zonka, good to have you here, babe. Good to be here, Mike. You know, Larry, our events are very unique and very demanding, but we have one event that is right up your alley.
Powerball, I imagine is what you're talking about. I'm looking forward to seeing that because I'm wondering whether the contestants are going to use evasive maneuvers or if they're going to put the old shoulder down like at the 2-yard line.
Like somebody I remember.
I don't know who that would be. Riggins?
It's going to be terrific competition. And with that in mind, let's meet the contenders for today's preliminary round.
In our women's preliminary, please welcome Dorann Cumberbatch of New York City, a teacher for the language impaired. And her opponent, Kristen Jarchow of Peoria, Arizona, an advertising graphics designer. In the men's competition, here's Philip Nasca of Aiea, Hawaii, manager of a townhouse complex and former collegiate running back. And his opponent, Scott Dieter of Huntington Beach, California, a mechanical engineer.
Kristen, normally the bright lights of television puts the fear of God into a lot of our contenders, but you're rather used to this. Explain how.
I sure am. When I was in 8th grade, I did a program a lot like this called All-American Games, and hopefully being on TV before will give me that extra edge today.
Scott, I know you live out here in California now, but you're a graduate of Penn State University. Larry and I both know a lot of great Nittany Lion athletes who are looking for you to come through.
Well, Mike, I've been away from Penn State for a couple of years, but I learned a lot about pride and toughness, and I'm going to be trying to apply that today.
Okay, best of luck. Larry?
Dorann, I understand you have 2 master's degrees. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
One in special education?
Yes.
I understand also you have kind of a unique training program coming in. Something to do with running the stairs in your apartment building?
Yes, I live on the 22nd floor, and to build up my endurance, I run up to the 22nd floor once or twice.
Well, good luck today. Philip, I understand you're the conditioning coach out at the University of Hawaii.
Well, I did help on a volunteer basis last season.
You got some lays there with you I saw before. They're not by chance for myself and Mike, are they?
Yes. If I didn't give you guys a lay from all the people from Hawaii to everybody involved in American Gladiators, they'd probably string me to a surfboard and send me back to the mainland. So this is for you guys.
Good idea, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
I like that. Well, now, I guess there's only one way to start this competition. Shaka bra, go get 'em. This is how our competition works on the American Gladiators. Our contenders, 2 men and 2 women, will compete against the Gladiators in 7 very different events. Now, the contender who amasses the most points in those 7 rigorous confrontations automatically advances to the next round and moves 1 step closer towards our championship final. At stake, over $150,000 in cash and prizes.
This preliminary opens with assault, where a contender has 60 seconds to hit a target above the gladiator using first a crossbow, then a rocket launcher, a cannon, the pistol, and finally 3 softballs. A contender may also earn 4 points for completing the course without getting hit. Laser will face Philip Nasca first, and earlier Philip told us that he looks at himself as a role model through this event.
I just like to be an example to young kids that, you know, you can reach something worthwhile and you don't have to be a rotten guy and you don't have to do drugs or any of those things, but you can still have excitement and do exciting things in life while you're still taking care of responsibilities.
Well, Phil's responsibility right now to hit that target above laser. At 38 years old, Phil, the oldest of our men's contenders here on American Gladiators. And he better go back to the drawing board with that crossbow shot.
Does even worse job with a rocket launcher.
And on his way to the third safe zone, Laser ends his day.
Philip did a pretty good job early on keeping his eye on Laser and dodging the shot, but right here, he can't dodge that one as it hits him in the head.
Well, next up for Laser is Scott Dieter, 6'1", 200 pounds. Scott told us he's here for a little revenge based on what's happened in the past.
When I was growing up, I was always pretty skinny, and I can always remember those bullies that were picking on me, so I eventually started picking up on weightlifting. And I think finally I'll get my chance to get even with some of these big bullies by taking on these gladiators.
Well, strength and size, not the important factors here in this event. Quickness and obviously shooting ability are.
I think you got to be a little sneaky too, Mike, to get out from those safe zones without getting hit.
Scott, 27, from Huntington Beach, California, now with the rocket launcher. And not a bad shot considering how errant the contenders have been so far with that particular weapon. Oh!
Close again. He's kind of doing the hop, skip, and jump between the safe zones, Mike.
Again, the contender has 60 seconds. Scott with about 20 left here. Now he's got a chance with those 3 softballs.
Close!
Not so close, and finally, that's the ticket. Third time's the charm for Scott Dieter.
Laser claims he hit Scott before he released the softball, but here the softball's released, and now the gun's fired. For an official decision, let's go down to our referee, Larry Thompson.
The grenade was launched, hit the target before the contender was hit by the Gladiators' tennis ball, therefore 7 points for the contender.
So it's official. Scott takes the early lead over Philip in our men's preliminary. There's more action ahead on American Gladiators, including Atlasphere. Hang tough, but women's assault is next.
Welcome back to Universal Studios Hollywood for this preliminary round of American Gladiators. The women start their competition with the assault event, and handling the honors for the Gladiators is Ice. And up first, a very thoughtful Dorann Cumberbatch. And earlier she told us not to expect too much emotion from her.
When you see me competing, you'll be very surprised if you see any emotion on my face. Because I'll probably be thinking of, if I did good this time, then I have to either try to do better next time, or I have to try to use that energy to carry up to the next event. But if I do bad, then I'm thinking of the next event, trying to think to myself, well, how can I better the next event so I can either get more points or make sure I don't make too many mistakes again.
Mike, kind of a Tom Landry philosophy of things. Just drain the emotion out of it, put everything to the competitive edge.
One thing for sure, Dorann has very high expectations of herself. Whoa, and given those high expectations, she's not going to be happy with that result, as Ice picks her off.
Dorann really had her eye on Ice, but her own speed, her own quicks carried her into the shot. So Ice gives Dorann a cold reception in her first event. So now Dorann's opponent, Kristen Jarchow, will have the opportunity to take an early lead.
Ready?
Kristen, 27 years old, from Peoria, Arizona. Comes from a strong athletic background, Larry. Her father once played for the Baltimore Colts. Kristen, a fine athlete in her own right. I tell you, if we've seen it happen once, we've seen it 1,000 times. Like many of the contenders, Kristen pulls the trigger accidentally before she gets herself properly aligned. Whoops. And that's the problem with this event. You make one false step or one stutter step, and usually the Gladiator is good enough to nail you. And that's exactly what happened to Kristen Jarchow.
Ice gives the cold shoulder to both women's contenders. And over in our men's competition, Scott has the early lead over Philip as we now move to the joust. Our leader, Scott, is up first, and he'll receive the challenge from Thunder.
Scott has 30 seconds to try to knock Thunder from that pedestal. Thunder with the 1-2 and bang, Scott Dieter is gone.
Thunder not even working up a sweat. He simply takes the pugil stick, goes first to the midsection, and then once over the head, and Scott's off.
Now it's Philip Nasca's turn to see what he can do with Thunder.
On guard.
Again, Thunder going to the midsection, and Philip Nasca trying the bull charge. Unfortunately, he disqualified himself by crossing over to Thunder's pedestal.
While we look at the replay, let's go to our referee.
My ruling is that the contender, in an attempt for leverage, stepped across and touched the Gladiator's pedestal before the Gladiator was removed. Therefore, the winner of this event, Thunder.
Thunder holds the men scoreless in their joust, so there's no change in the men's score after 2 events. The women are scoreless in their matchup as they now take to the jousting platforms.
And in this case, Diamond is up for the Gladiators, and she'll take on Kristen Jarchow.
On guard.
This should be a pretty good match. Both women about the same size. Kristen giving it all she got, but momentarily she lost control of her pugil stick, and Diamond does her in. So Dorann Cumberbatch is up now, and she'll see what she can do with Diamond.
On guard.
Dorann a little bit more cautious than Kristen was.
Dorann just using her strength to push Diamond off the back of the platform.
Dorann, I wish you could have seen that joust from my vantage point. It was sort of a David and Goliath kind of thing, but you managed to hang in there. How'd you do it?
I don't like to fall.
That's incentive. Did you have any strategy going into that at all? You looked like you were able to block some of Diamond's shots.
Now, the strategy was to take what you had to take and block what you couldn't take.
Well done.
Dorann gets on the women's scoreboard and takes the early lead over Kristen after 2 events. Still to come is Powerball. Then Hang Tough, but up next is Atlasphere.
Welcome back to Universal Studios Hollywood, where American Gladiators now moves on to the event we call Atlasphere. Coming in, Scott leads Philip by 6 points as they prepare to load in.
In Atlasphere, both contenders compete simultaneously in an attempt to roll into any one of the 4 scoring pods worth 1 point each. At the same time, 2 gladiators try to prevent them from scoring using spheres of their own.
And a look at Scott Dieter, our mechanical engineer, working in the aerospace division at McDonnell Douglas. He must feel right at home in our makeshift space module. And a look at Phil Nasca. He came all the way from the island of Oahu in Hawaii. Actually took a second job as a house painter to qualify in Los Angeles. That earned him the airfare.
Gladiators ready. Spotters
2
ready.
contenders set to go. And referee Larry Thompson gets them on their way.
The 2 gladiators, Nitro and Laser.
Scott now has got it rolling. Now he'll try to stop that 200 pounds of momentum he has going. Can't get it in the scoring pot.
Philip with a shot. Will he be able to get it to settle? Nope. He'll have to move on.
However, the second time works for Phil. That one counts. And Scott's having all kinds of problems. He's pinned up against that barrier.
Philip trying a little demolition derby tactic.
Almost a kamikaze charge. Phil the winner, 1-0.
Philip, you just said it all. This is wild.
It sure is, man. I'm huffing and puffing in here.
Your legs burning right now. It's a heck of an anaerobic exercise.
Yeah, it is. I did a lot of uphill sprinting, so I think it helped in this.
It paid off. You won this particular event. Atlasphere, 1-0. Way to go. Phil.
Philip gets on the scoreboard with his victory in Atlasphere, but after 3 events, he still trails Scott. Over in our women's contest, Dorann leads Kristen as they get set to load in.
Dorann getting inside of her Atlasphere, 27 years old, a very scholarly contender, working on her second master's degree. She'll try to use her noggin here to get by our 2 gladiators.
Gladiators ready. Spotters ready.
Match is underway. Dorann in the red Atlasphere, Kristen in the blue. Kristen now with a breakaway. She's got to slow it down, stop, settle, she gets the goal. Meanwhile, Dorann has done the same against ice. Kristen trying to rock it out. Dorann on her way to the scoring pod. And she finesses her way to a goal. I tell you what, you can hear some of the grunting and groaning inside those cages. This is not easy.
Both contenders settle in for a final score.
And Dorann actually comes back to win it by a count of 3-2. Not a bad go-round for their first time in Atlasphere. Dorann and Kristen.
Watch the fake Dorann uses against Diamond. As once she sees where she has the Gladiator committed, she rolls back and makes the score. Dorann wins this battle of Atlasphere and now increases her lead over Kristen after 3 events. Meantime, Scott holds the lead over Philip in the men's contest as they prepare to take to the skies for Hang Tough.
And in Hang Tough, a contender has 60 seconds to swing from his platform to Gladiators using a grid of hanging rings. Now, if he can swing to the far side, it's worth 10 points. And if he can last the entire 60 seconds without being pulled off, a contender can earn 5 points for a draw. Phil Nasca is up first, and he'll be swinging against Gemini. And Gemini, well, he's pumped up and ready to go.
Ready.
Larry, in this event, you can start off with a sleeve size of 34 inches and wind up with a 37-inch sleeve.
Phil, not being very evasive, swings right into Gemini, and Gemini uses all that weight to pull him off the ring.
Phil never had a chance at 265 pounds. There's no way he could hold on with Gemini wrapped around him. Larry?
Philip, I thought maybe being over in Hawaii, you'd had a little experience up in the palm trees there after some coconuts or something. Might have come in handy.
Well, I've never done that, but I played the flying Gambinis with my 2 boys, Joseph and Nathaniel, but I think I should have did a little more flying, a little less Gambini.
There you go. Gemini, man, you look like you've got it down pat. You went right down the middle, blocked both avenues of escape, wrapped him up, and put him away.
Well, I don't know if I got it down pat, but I was a little surprised by his attempt to come straight down the middle. I think that's one of the hardest adjustments to make is to go laterally. I was able to tie him up, and he held on there for a long time. He was really holding on there. I was surprised, and it was kind of like pound, 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 and he finally came down.
Good job, fellas.
Well, one thing's for sure, Scott Dieter took notice. The last thing he wants to do is get tangled up with Gemini. No sense having your arms pulled out of their sockets if they don't have to be. Gemini waiting to make a move.
A little bit of a cat and mouse game here.
Scott's got a little bit of room on Gemini. Gemini trying to swing his way. Oh! So with the remaining 25 seconds, Scott Dieter's going to do one of three things. Fall himself, which he almost did right there. Hang on for the draw or somehow make it to that platform. Right now, his momentum is all fouled up. He's going to just have to hang on, I think.
Almost made the same mistake as Gemini, turning loose of one ring before he really had a secure hold on the other.
Time is up. He gets the free fall, and he also gets 5 points for the draw. Scott Dieter.
So Scott held in there for the 60 seconds, and here's the turning point. You can see Gemini with just 3 fingers on the ring. He's strong, but not that strong. And as a result, Scott increases his lead over Philip after 4 events. Still to come on American Gladiators is Powerball, the wall, and women's hang tough is next.
Preliminary round competition continues here at Universal Studios Hollywood, where the women are set for hang tough. After 3 events, Dorann Cumberbatch leads Kristen Jarchow, and Dorann's up first. She'll be swinging against Ice.
Ready?
And Larry, this should be a pretty good match, considering that Ice is very adept on these rings.
Dorann has a lot of athletic ability, and she certainly has shown that she has upper body strength, so it will be a good contest. Dorann wastes no time coming out to center stage, not trying to be very evasive, just kind of taking them one ring after the other.
But she did make a move to the outside. Now she's shooting past Ice. Ice knows she's in trouble. Ice is going the opposite direction, as a matter of fact.
Dorann just 1 or 2 rings away from making the other platform and picking up the 10 points. Ice trying to close the gap.
Oh, Dorann so close, she made it.
Dorann makes it look easy as she steps up on the platform and earns 10 points.
Dorann, you have done something no contender has been able to do, and that's make it all the way across to this platform. That was a great athletic performance.
Well, I tell you before, I don't like to fall.
Were you worried that you might not make it?
Especially on the end there. I couldn't find anything.
Congratulations. Fabulous performance, Dorann. Fabulous.
She makes it look easy, and that's a little added pressure for Kristen, who now trails Dorann by 21 points. She, too, will face Ice.
Kristen opting to go right down the middle.
Just like Dorann did. Let's see if she makes the outside move.
Boy, and the last thing you want to do as a contender is let Ice get those powerful legs wrapped around you.
Got to get off those rings.
Referee Larry Thompson warning both Contender and Gladiator that they have to move from one ring to the other. His Ice closes the gap and gets Kristen in a lockup.
I don't know if Kristen is laughing or grimacing in pain.
Take her down. She gets a draw. She gets a draw.
Kristen trying to hang on. Here's a woman who has a 225-pound bench press. So you know Kristen is strong. She's trying to use her legs now to kick Ice away. Now you know why they call it hang tough. Kristen lasts the entire 60 seconds. Wow. And an excellent dismount.
Kristen, no avoidance tactic at all, right into the eye of the storm, attacked point blank.
Well, I was really hoping for those 10 points. I need them at this point.
I understand that you bench press 235 pounds, is that correct?
It sure is.
I think you might be capable of bench pressing a little more than that after what I just saw displayed out here. Good luck the rest of the day.
So both our women hang tough for points, but Dorann increases her lead over Kristen after 4 events. Scott Dieter leads Philip Nasca in our men's preliminary as they get set to take a look at Gemini, Laser, and Nitro in Powerball.
And our leader, Scott, mentioned a little earlier the range of emotions he goes through during the competition.
Before every event, my stomach's churning, I'm scared. But once the whistle blows, that's all gone, and you just go all out. And when it's over, you don't even remember it. And you just hope you did well and gave it your best shot.
Like any athletic contest, butterflies always part of the equation. Again, the contenders, 45 seconds to score as many times as they can. Phil Nasca with a nice move on Gemini. He was a walk-on running back at the University of Hawaii. And he shows those happy feet again. And again, Phil scores. Remember, this guy is 38 years old.
And both our contenders have to have sore bodies after going through that physical matchup. Our gladiators congratulating each other, although there were a lot of scores by both our contenders. They're happy guys, but again, very sore.
The score of this Powerball match between Philip and Scott, 4-1 in favor of Philip. Scott, I'll start with you. You didn't score as many goals as you liked, but it wasn't because of a lack of effort.
No, these guys were hitting very hard. And I was giving them everything I had. It seemed like there was always two of them there or something, but I was taking a lot of shots. It was fun.
Philip, 38 and feeling great. You're not supposed to be able to do those kind of things against gladiators that big.
Well, I just love to run, and I never got a chance to run the ball in college, so finally got a chance to run instead of just block all the time.
You got some swivel hips there, too.
You gotta be quick when you're little, man.
Quick when you're little. All right, congratulations, Phil.
Gemini, rough game, but some points scored, surprisingly.
Yeah, I am a little surprised that the guy in the red got the 4 balls. We did a pretty good job on the other guy, but I think the other guy, fortunately, just got to be in the right place at the right time. He was lucky he got his time.
Laser, Nitro, what Gemini alluded to as being in the right spot at the right time, having played some years in professional football, I know that can happen.
Larry, I take full responsibility, and he's on my list.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let the games continue.
But with his victory in Powerball, Philip closes in on Scott's lead after 5 events. In our women's contest, Dorann has a sizable lead over Kristen as they get set to take on Lace, Gold, and Blaze in Powerball. Both Kristen and Dorann, 27 years old. Boy, look at the quicks on Dorann Cumberbatch.
Kristen scores as well at the other end. Both girls very fast as Dorann demonstrates that speed again with another score.
Every time Dorann scores, Kristen scores, and whoa! Boy, they just collided with one another. Boy, usually it's the contenders who get a workout. This time, the gladiators are being put through their paces.
Lace looking a little helpless, a little lonely down here. As Kristen puts a stiff arm in her face, and they both go to the mat.
And that is it. But Dorann wins it 6-4. Both women were matching each other goal for goal until this shot coming up. Kristen tries to go around Blaze. Blaze delivers the shot. Kristen's ball bounces off the cylinder, and then they bounce off each other.
Lace, they scored 6 goals. What happened?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
Would you say a lot of those scores were lucky scores?
No, they were good. Those girls were jamming.
I'll tell you what, I saw a lot of speed on the behalf of the contestants.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit is due. They were great athletes.
Long arms, great speed. And I'll tell you what, Blaze, I saw some pretty elusive moves out there.
Hey, I had to keep up with them. They were fast on their feet.
Fast on their feet. And Lace, I got to ask you one question. Where did you learn the one-arm takedown?
From you, Zonk.
Uh-oh. Good job, girls. Let's get out of here now.
Funny, Larry, I thought you spent your career with the Dolphins avoiding takedowns. In any event, Dorann increases her lead now after 5 events. Still to come in the American Gladiators is our Eliminator, but the wall is up next.
The wall, one of our more scary events, where our 2 competitors compete simultaneously, each trying to arrive first at the 32-foot summit. But it's not a free climb. For 10 seconds after they begin, the Gladiators go up to pull them off. Mike Adamley's up top. Mike, how do we look from up there?
Well, Larry, this is about as high as you can go here in stage 27 without actually getting on the roof. The wall is a difficult event, but not a dangerous one. You'll notice that the contenders and gladiators are rigged in safety harnesses. The key to this event may lie in these grips, which are placed strategically along the face of the wall. How well the contender is able to hold on to these things may spell success or failure. Let's go down to the base where Philip and Scott are ready to climb.
The ability to hang on to those grips is the key. Scott now leads Philip coming into this event, and he's going to be followed up that wall by Laser. And Phil will be trailed by Turbo.
Ready? Again, both our contenders given a 10-second head start. You talk about bad draws, Turbo and Laser, the best among the gladiators in this wall event.
Phil having a little trouble early on. Turbo's right on his heels.
Laser grabs Scott. There goes Philip. Turbo pulls him off. Scott manages to get away.
Scott, with Laser right on his heels, has got a sudden boost. His turbos are firing. He's going up the wall. He's got a hold of it, and he's going to make the scale.
Scott, when you draw Laser, that's like being chased by a wild Doberman.
Oh, he had my foot the whole way up. He's tough. I thought I was really going fast, but man, he was on my tail the whole time.
Where do you feel the pump the most, the burn the most? In the arms, the fingers, where?
Forearms and fingers, especially when you got to pull some extra weight when he had a hold of my feet. So just hung on for my life and just kept going up.
Hang on, you did. You did so in 38 seconds, and you earned 10 points. Congratulations. Scott Dieter.
Laser Scott got off to a kind of a poor start, but really, you gave him a burst of speed when he heard you on the wall behind you.
He sure did. This is the second time now I've grabbed these guys by the ankles, and I'm just one step behind them, but they're great competitors this year, and they're great climbers. They must have been practicing in the off-season.
Let me tell you what Scott did. When he got up there and you started grabbing at his feet, he stopped worrying about foot placement, and he just started grabbing every peg he could get a hold of all the way to the top.
I think I did the same thing, and my hat goes off to him. He did a great job.
Great competition. Thanks, Laser.
So Scott managed to elude Laser, but he did get those 10 points for reaching the top. And now he's taking the commanding lead over Philip. Dorann leads Kristen after 5 events as the women await the wall. A special education teacher, Dorann told us she hopes she can be a role model to her students.
They need positive role models. And if they can see that anyone could do anything they put their mind to, then they may try harder themselves and not use a card saying I'm special ed and I can't do this or that.
Dorann concentrating, getting her mind right to go up the wall. She's going to be followed up that wall by Lace, while Kristen's going to be challenged by Blaze.
Again, the customary 10-second head start.
Dorann flying up the wall. Kristen having a little trouble.
And that trouble has allowed Blaze to come mighty close, and now she loses her grip and off she goes.
Watch yourself, Blaze.
Dorann, in the meantime, has opened a huge lead over Lace as she nears the top. She can keep her concentration there. She's got a hold of the top and hoist herself up for the 10 points.
Dorann, you said your key motivation for succeeding in a lot of these events was the fear of falling. You don't like to fall. I guess that was the case in the wall, huh?
Well, not really on the wall, but I look at the wall as a tree. And when I was small, since I like to climb trees so much, the wall was mine.
Terrific job. 31 seconds, incidentally. And if you thought it was fun getting up here, you're going to enjoy the ride down. Congratulations.
With her win on the lead over Kristen after 6 events. Up next, the Eliminator.
Welcome back to Universal Studios Hollywood for our final event, the Eliminator. Both contenders compete simultaneously in this event. The women have 90 seconds and the men 60 to complete the course, which starts here at the treadmill. Once they reach the top, each contender must then pedal their way over a 30-foot span using a hand bike. Then it's on to the balance beam, where a contender must cross a 30-foot beam only 6 inches wide while dodging a weighted bag.
Then each contender must climb a 20-foot cargo net, which brings them approximately 40 feet above the arena floor. Then the fun part, getting down, a zip line over the entire length of the arena. Then the contender must collect himself and finish the Eliminator with 2 hurdles and a decision of which lane to pick. A gladiator may await behind one of those doors.
And Dorann leads Kristen by 28 points coming in, meaning that Kristen would have to beat Dorann by at least 14 seconds. Improbable, but not impossible. Each second left on the clock worth 2 points, and contenders lose points for each fall on the course. Both Kristen and Dorann handle the treadmill with no sweat.
Having a little difficulty, but really fairly smooth for both of them on the hand bike.
Kristen with the slight lead. Now on that balance beam. Remember, it's only 6 inches wide, and Kristen goes down.
Dorann maintains her balance and opens a small lead. Remember, Kristen lost points with that fall.
Dorann, the first up the cargo net. Now she can take a little breather here. This really is a lot of fun. Here comes Kristen. Dorann kind of loping across the finish line. Our Gladiator not offering much resistance there. Interesting technique over the hurdles. And finally, Kristen Jarchow across the finish line. Dorann will move on to the quarterfinals.
Kristen, you've just been a tiny bit off the mark all day. You got off pretty good in that, and then you lost your balance, of course, on the balance beam.
And that's the last thing I thought would have happened, but it's a long day and it's really tough. So, you know, I just tried to hang in there and do my best.
I got to tell you something. I've enjoyed your competitive spirit all day. You've been a competitor all the way. You've been a good sport about it, and we've enjoyed having you here.
Thanks, appreciate
Sure
it.
thing. Dorann, you've been referred to as the wolf in the sheep's clothing. You've been kind of silent and laid back, easygoing, didn't have much to say, and then in every event you just keep gathering points.
That's all I try to do, think of one event at a time.
Was there any part of the Eliminator that had you a little worried?
The bike, because I've never done it before.
I noticed on the balance beam you were a little apprehensive at first and looked at the dummy a long time, but then you made sort of a dive for the mat.
No, I was just trying to keep my balance. I didn't want to fall off.
Well, I want to welcome you to the quarterfinals and say thanks for a great job. Well done.
So congratulations to 27-year-old Dorann Cumberbatch, who advances with her win over Kristen Jarchow. In our men's preliminary, Scott leads by 18 points coming in, meaning that Philip would have to beat him by 9 seconds to win. Philip in the red, Scott in the blue.
Ready!
And they've cranked up that treadmill in this men's Eliminator. Moves a little bit faster than the women's, but they made it up quite easily.
Both zipped through the hand bike. Now the test on the balance beam.
Scott makes it through, and so does Philip. This one may be decided by the Gladiators at the end. Who does the best job of holding up the contender? Phil, the first to reach the final straightaway over the hurdles. And Philip runs smack dab in the thunder.
Both contenders with clean runs. Philip winning in 49 seconds to Scott's 51. But 2 seconds is far from enough, and Scott will take the victory. Mike?
Gut-wrenching, muscle-pumping Phil and Scott. What an Eliminator final. And Phil needed to win by 5 seconds, couldn't pull it off. You advanced to the quarterfinals, Scott. Your feelings right now?
It's been a long, tough day, and it feels great to get that win. Phil's a great competitor. He had a good comeback there, and boy, I'm tired.
You came into this competition with mixed emotions. You didn't know what to expect. Now that the 7 events are over in this preliminary round, how do you feel?
I realize how tough it is, and these guys are tough, and I want another shot at them.
Well, your friends from Huntington Beach in attendance today loved your performance. Congratulations and good luck in the quarterfinals. Phil, you typify the Aloha spirit, you typify the contender spirit. You had to raise money, get a second job as a painter just to come to the contender tryouts in Los Angeles. You made it through that, and you made it through this. And I think everybody was moved by what you did here.
Thanks, Mike. 7
events. Was it everything you expected it to be?
It was tough, and these gladiators are tough, and I just enjoy competition.
You think you made a statement for guys who are over 35?
I hope so. There's still a lot of life left in those legs.
I think you did, Phil. Congratulations. We enjoyed your performance. Thanks for being with us. Phil and Scott.
So congratulations to the pride of Huntington Beach, California. Scott Dieter will move on.
That's it for this edition of the American Gladiators. For Larry Zonka, I'm Mike Adamley saying so long from Universal Studios, Hollywood.